The rise of a dream interpreter. Long after Joseph had been carried away from his homeland and sold into slavery, long after he had endured injustice and forgotten years in prison, a turning point came quietly in the land of Egypt. It began not with Joseph himself, but with Pharaoh, the mighty ruler whose power stretched across fertile fields and endless rivers. One night, Pharaoh was troubled by dreams so vivid that they clung to him even after waking. In the darkness of his chamber, images rose before his mind like living creatures from another world, heavy with meaning yet wrapped in mystery. The dreams by the river. Pharaoh dreamed that he stood beside the Nile, the lifeblood of Egypt. From its shimmering waters emerged 7 cows, strong and healthy, their bodies full and shining. They grazed peacefully among the reeds, a picture of abundance and calm. But then the river stirred again, and 7 more cows rose up. These were gaunt and skeletal, their ribs visible, their appearance unsettling. Without mercy, the thin cows devoured the healthy ones, yet they remained just as starved as before. Pharaoh awoke, shaken, but sleep overtook him again. A second dream followed. This time he saw 7 ears of grain growing on a single stalk. Thick and good, heavy with promise. After them sprouted 7 more ears, thin and scorched by the east wind. The withered ears swallowed the full ones, leaving nothing behind but unease. When morning came, Pharaoh's spirit was disturbed. He summoned the magicians and wise men of Egypt, men trained in secrets and symbols, but none could explain the meaning of what he had seen. Their silence deepened Pharaoh's fear, for a dream from a king was never empty. Joseph remembered. At last, the chief cupbearer, who had once been imprisoned with Joseph, remembered his own forgotten debt. He told Pharaoh of a young Hebrew man in prison, a servant who had interpreted dreams with uncanny clarity. Pharaoh ordered Joseph to be brought at once. Joseph was hastily cleaned and dressed, standing soon before the ruler of Egypt. Pharaoh told him of the dreams and of the failure of all others to explain them. Joseph answered with humility, saying that wisdom did not come from himself, but from God, who reveals what is to come. Wisdom revealed. As Joseph listened, understanding unfolded within him. He explained that the 2 dreams were one message, repeated to show its certainty. The 7 healthy cows and the 7 full ears of grain represented 7 years of great abundance. The land would overflow with harvests, and Egypt would know prosperity beyond measure. But the 7 thin cows and the withered ears spoke of 7 years of terrible famine that would follow. The hunger would be so severe that the years of abundance would be forgotten, and the land would be stripped bare. The repetition of the dream meant that this future was firmly decided and near at hand. Joseph did not stop at interpretation. He urged Pharaoh to act with wisdom, to appoint a discerning leader who would gather grain during the years of plenty and store it carefully. In this way, Egypt could survive the coming disaster. From prison to palace. Pharaoh recognized wisdom when he heard it. He saw that the Spirit of God rested upon Joseph, and that no one else was better suited for such a task. In a single moment, Joseph's life was transformed. Pharaoh placed his signet ring upon Joseph's hand, dressed him in fine linen, and hung a gold chain around his neck. He set Joseph over all the land of Egypt, second only to himself. Joseph rode through the streets in honor, and the people bowed before him. The one who had been a slave and a prisoner became the guardian of a kingdom. Joseph was given a new name and a wife, and he began his work with diligence and foresight. Years of plenty. The years of abundance came just as foretold. The land produced more grain than could be measured. Joseph traveled throughout Egypt, overseeing the gathering and storage of food in cities across the land. Granaries were filled until counting was abandoned, for the supply was like the sand of the sea. During this time, Joseph's family grew. He had 2 sons, and he named them with meaning drawn from his past. One name reflected how God had made him forget his suffering. The other spoke of fruitfulness in the land of his affliction. Even in prosperity, Joseph remembered where he had come from and who had sustained him. The famine begins. When the 7 years of abundance ended, the famine began, just as Joseph had said. Hunger spread not only through Egypt but into surrounding lands. Crops failed, and fear grew. Yet Egypt had bread. The storehouses Joseph had prepared were opened, and grain was sold to the people. As the famine worsened, people from all nations came to Egypt, seeking food. Unknowingly, the stage was set for old wounds and old promises to meet again. Explanation and lessons. Genesis chapter 41 tells a story not of sudden miracles, but of patient faith unfolding over time. Joseph's rise was not accidental. It was shaped by suffering, integrity, and trust in God even when circumstances seemed hopeless. The chapter shows how God can use dreams, wisdom, and preparation to save not only individuals but entire nations. One lesson is that hardship does not cancel purpose. Joseph's years in prison were not wasted, they prepared him for leadership. Another lesson is the value of wisdom paired with action. Understanding the future meant nothing without disciplined planning. Finally, the chapter teaches humility and faithfulness. Joseph never claimed glory for himself, but pointed to God as the source of insight and success. Genesis 41 reminds readers that unseen plans may be unfolding even in silence, and that faithfulness in small, hidden places can lead to moments that change the course of history.